Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm Malicious Female Fan Steve Malicious here, back with the weekly Tech Tussle for week ending October the 16th, 2021. Of course, the weekly Tech Tussle, a roundup of stories that didn't necessarily warrant videos of their own, but still ones that I wanted to comment on, and of course hear from you in the comment section below about them. First one up, more of a follow-up, almost got a video of its own. It's Apple CSAM. It's back, the photo scanning technology that Apple was going to implement with iOS 15. The New York Times reports that there was a research study done in Europe about cybersecurity experts, and all of them concerned about how dangerous the release of the technology was. In fact, the European Union is coming up with its own version of the software to disperse to phones and have the ability to scan different images for organized crime reasons, terrorism reasons, all the rest of it. So the cybersecurity experts were, of course, alarmed by the technology's not even out yet with Apple, and already they're trying to figure out ways to piggyback on the technology and use it for other purposes besides just child exploitation. And listen, I didn't need a 46-page report to tell you that. In fact, I'll leave the card to the original video that I had about this. If you think for a second that this type of technology and the ability to do this was going to be released out to the world, and that governments and police agencies and whoever else around the globe weren't drooling at the opportunities that would present them for surveillance. So then I got a bridge to tell you. Okay, it's right over there. It would be naive to not look at human history and all of a sudden say that, okay, well, they're going to release this technology, but they're going to keep it to the original intended purpose. It's not going to be used for anything else, I promise. You know, they could pinky swear and whatever else that Apple wants to do. Eventually, there'd be people or governments or whoever it happens to be that would piggyback on top of this technology and use it for surveillance that wasn't the original purpose. And just like I said in that original video, we're all on board with keeping kids safe, right? But that's how this stuff enters. It's a Trojan horse, right? It always comes in as something that everybody could agree to. And then that second implementation, well, most people agree to. And then by the time you get to the third and the fourth, and it gets more subjective, it's already too late. So the great thing about this is the Apple debate brought this stuff to the forefront. So at least it's in the light of day. So there's a discussion about it. There's a lot more pushback than there would have been originally. A lot of it from China, by the way, Chinese consumers, because they know all too well the dangers of giving the government more tools to surveil them. Okay? That's a bit dangerous, especially over there. So that's the reason why you have to have these conversations, but it's important to have them in a legitimate manner. You have to have educated conversations about this stuff, and it's too easy for the other side, when the tinfoil hat arguments start coming in, to just dismiss everybody. They could take legitimate, well-formulated concerns and dismiss all of them because they could just point to, look, we don't respond to nuts. You know, we don't respond to that stuff. They lump it all together and they dismiss it. So it was great that the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, they had Craig Federighi on. They made him explain the whole thing. It was important to have the argument structured and framed the way it was. You push back, and things aren't hopeless in this world. When you do things the right way, look, may not stop the ball from rolling. This may be implemented at some point anyway, but at least you've stopped it. You forced it to be in the light of day, and I think that's important. And nobody is against keeping kids safe, keeping terrorists in jail, whatever it happens to be, okay? No one's against that. But if you're just going to give people this wholesale technology that they could go into your phone or whatever they can look at on the cloud or whatever of your personal property, your personal correspondence, it gets dangerous. And it's nice to see that cybersecurity experts across Europe agree. Okay, second one. Snapdragon. There was that red flag trend on Twitter where you put red flags when somebody says that you a bunch of red flags. It means you don't deal with them. Snapdragon's so salty, they put in when you use a custom chip instead of a Snapdragon system on a chip, and then they put the red flags. Of course, referring to Google using the Tensor chip instead of a Snapdragon in their or at least a stock Snapdragon in their upcoming phone. And listen, Snapdragon, you can be salty all you want. You can be snarky all you want. You got plenty of things to worry about. 15 years ago, when Apple finally moved away from PowerPC, when Steve Jobs was up there announcing the move to Intel, what were the catalysts to get them to move from PowerPC and a G5 to Intel processors. It was performance based on heat, and it was battery life. Okay, it was both by heat. They couldn't get a G5, a PowerPC G5, in a PowerBook because the thing just put off too much heat. And then you had the ability, the problem with that much heat causing issues with battery life and performance. Same thing with the Snapdragon 888. What's been the main complaint and problem with manufacturers about the Snapdragon 888? Well, the thing runs hot, right? So there's throttling issues, there's whatever, but it runs hot. And because of that, there's battery life hits to be had, okay? The S21 Ultra's had issues. The OnePlus 9 has had issues. They've tried to mitigate it in a couple different ways. Throttling, whatever it happens to be. There was a big argument about that with OnePlus. But the problem goes deeper than just the manufacturers. The problem goes to the Snapdragon itself and the architecture. It runs hot. And so if you don't want people coming up with their own custom solutions, like Apple, look at the battery life on the new iPhone 13. Did you get that on a Snapdragon 888? I don't think so. So if you don't want people moving away from your system on a chip, you better do a lot of work with engineering on dissipating that heat, making them run cooler, and making them not have such a hit to battery life instead of just sitting on Twitter and making snarky comments. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-alicious day.